Okay, so this is an exercise for you. I'm going to describe the exercise, and I'm going to give you a couple of examples, and then I'll give you a few minutes to do this. Okay, so the exercise is to identify the core aspects of your life that you either devote time to or that you don't currently devote a lot of time to, but you really want to devote more time to. So I'll give you two sort of frameworks, one that I use and then one that comes from Michael Hyatt, who's kind of a time management influencer that a lot of what I have learned has built off of his tools. So these are my accounts. I've got one, two, three, got 8 of them. They change a little. I kind of rename them periodically, but this represents all of the aspects of my life that feel important to me. As I mentioned, Michael Hyatt built these 9 in 3 different circles. So yeah, the exercise that we'll take a couple minutes for is to just think about what are the core domains or assets or accounts in your life and give them names. Okay, we'll take a couple minutes. Anyone want to share any reflections on this is a process that Michael Hyatt and his team call life planning. And so every 3 months, I find at least 3 hours that are entirely distraction free to reflect, look at my accounts, and reprioritize them, and then set goals for the coming 3 months. I've been doing this for, I think, 15 years now. And this process of intentionally taking time to stop and to reflect on what my broader goals are has been incredibly transformative in how I spend time. So there are a number of steps to approaching the life planning process and how I do it. One is a little bit morbid, but it's thinking about what I want to have accomplished at the end of my life, thinking about the current state of each of my accounts and where I'm in deficit. Think about which areas of my life I have a lot of motivation in right now, which ones could be a lot better with even just minor additional investment,
and then which counts I could actually do less in without having sort of a major backslide in how well those accounts are functioning and how good I feel in that aspect of my life. So this part about thinking about what I want to have accomplished in my life, the process that I was taught is to write eulogies. Who do I want to speak at my funeral, and how do I want to be remembered? There are other ways to do this. You don't have to do a eulogy if it freaks you out, but this is an example of one of mine. It really forces, I think, a level of explicitness and clarity about who you are trying to be in the world and how you want to influence others. As I said, I think about the current state of each of my accounts. Mostly, I just think about this and write out the current state. But then once a year, I go back to the tools of Michael Hyatt at fullfocus.co, and I take what's called the life score assessment, where it asks you a series of questions and it gives you one of these kind of handy diagrams that says, okay, this is where you are within each of your categories. But it's only the categories that they define, and it's based on the questions that they ask. So I don't find it perfectly useful for my life, but I find it interesting and sort of another data point that helps to point me to where I feel like I'm thriving and where I feel like I'm struggling. This question of where does my motivation currently lie? What that, go back. I think that it's one of the helpful things about thinking in the longer term is that you can begin to appreciate that there may be a lot of things that you want to do, but there are only a handful of things that you're deeply motivated to do at this time, within this 3-month period. And so to be able to sort of move where my motivation is and focus in those areas was actually incredibly helpful to me